Good afternoon and welcome to the daily briefing at the St. Clair County EMA office. We're here with Chairman Mark Kern once again on this Friday, and of course Sam Bierman from the St. Clair County Health Department. And Sam, I know you have some numbers and a little bit better.
Yes, they are, and we have some good news today too. So we will get going with the numbers as we have done in days past. The numbers that we will report to you for St. Clair County are St. Clair County residents that have been tested. For right now, as of today, we are at 3,057 total that have been tested, with 694 positive test results, which is an increase of 27 from yesterday, and that includes both males and females from their teens up to their 80s. We are at 2,292 negative test results, with 71 test results still pending, and we are still currently reporting 55 deaths, which I'm happy to announce there are no new additional deaths today that we will be reporting. For state totals, we are at 399,714 that have been tested, with 73,760 positive test results, which is an increase of 2,887 from yesterday. We have a total for deaths of 3,241 of the state, which is an increase of 130 from yesterday. And as always, our sympathies go out to the families who have lost loved ones to coronavirus. Hospitalization numbers for hospitals that are in St. Clair County. Currently, we have 51 patients that are hospitalized due to COVID-related reasons, and 8 of those patients are on ventilators. For congregate living facilities that are in outbreak status, which means that they have 2 or more staff or residents that are either COVID positive or who have COVID-like symptoms, Brea of Belleville has 20 cases and no deaths. Brea of Cahokia has 5 cases and no deaths. Caritas Family Solutions in Belleville has 6 cases and no deaths. Colonnade of O'Fallon has 3 cases and no deaths. Four Fountains in Belleville has 79 cases and 13 deaths. Help at Home in O'Fallon has 5 cases and no deaths. Lebanon Care Center in Lebanon has 34 cases and 7 deaths. Memorial Care Center in Belleville has 43 cases and 5 deaths. St. Paul's in Belleville has 5 cases and 1 death. And TDL Incorporated, which is in Belleville, has 4 cases and no deaths. And now I will turn it over to Chairman Kern for his update.
Thank you, Sam. We're encouraged by these numbers. We need to just keep it up, keep doing what we're doing. We'll be able to get the numbers steady and declining, and in a good way, we'll be able to reopen hopefully more sooner than later and much quicker than perhaps we all anticipated. So at this time, we'll read the zip code reports. 62201, we have 12 COVID positive patients or people diagnosed. 62203, there are 24. 62204, there are 31. That's an increase of 1 person. 62205, there are 32. That's an increase of 2 people. 62206, there are 62. That is an increase of 3. In 62207, there are 38. That's an increase of 5. In 62208, and we actually have a decline of 1 person to 38, and that's, as we've talked about before, we have reporting from a number of sources, and at some times we don't have the final number, and so once we get the final number, we want to make sure that everything is as accurate as we possibly can be, so we subtract 1 from yesterday's number in 62208. In 62220, there are now 65. That is an increase of 2. In 62221, there are 57. That's an increase of 5. In 62223, there remain 38. In 62226, there are 83. That is an increase of 2. In 62232, there are now 8 people. That's an increase of 1. In 62239, we remain at 10. In 62254, we remain at 19. In 62257, we remain at 7. In 62258, we're static at 14. In 62269, we have an increase of 3 to 57. And in 62285, we remain at 6. Today, I was lucky enough to have a phone call with the base commander from Scott Air Force Base, Colonel Meyer. We talked extensively about what all of us are doing during this time to protect people in our county and the colonel on the base. Operations are going well at Scott. Things are moving along smoothly, and many of the things that are in place that the governor has recommended are also being done at Scott Air Force Base. So we're encouraged by hearing from the colonel today, because our economy and our lives revolve around Scott Air Force Base, and so knowing that they're doing well is a good thing. A base commander's job is everything from fixing the streets to plowing the snow to doing all the military-related duties. A lot of times they say that a base commander's duties are like that of a mayor. Today we are joined by a mayor here, Mayor Eastern from the great city of East St. Louis, the city of champions.
Yes.
Actually, the mayor is responsible for some pretty good things in the county. He has 2 of the testing sites that exist for COVID-19. I bet you're the only mayor south of Springfield that has two testing sites.
It's to my understanding that is so, Chairman Kern, and we're excited about having those testing sites. We're excited about the fact that they're in our city, and we're definitely excited about having a great partnership with you and with the Illinois National Guard in our second testing site.
And they're doing a pretty good job there. They ramped up quickly. I think they started testing Tuesday, or Wednesday, maybe.
They had a soft opening on Tuesday, and they went full throttle on Wednesday. So, and it was phenomenal just to sit back and see how they got in. They worked real hard and diligent, to get it up and running, and it's a good operation right now.
I think they've got some good numbers of people coming in, but there's still a lot of capacity that exists there. We encourage people to get tested because you want to know that if you're taking groceries to your grandmother, to your mother, that you don't have COVID. So we encourage people to go there and get tested.
That's correct. Right now, the hours of operation is from 8 to 3 o'clock. They do 500 tests per day. That's 400 driving because it's a drive-through operation, and 500 and 100 walk-ups. So it's either 500 tests per day or 3 o'clock, whichever comes first. And they're open 7 days a week.
Well, that's COVID-19's been a new world for all of us. There was no handbook on how to handle COVID-19. Can you talk about East St. Louis and how some things that have changed, some things you've done to try to slow the spread of this virus in your community?
Well, first thing we did, we was lock in step with the governor with his stay-at-home order and with yourself, with the county. So we work in lock in step to make sure everybody remains at home and safe as best we can. We shut down the businesses, and we're doing things that we can to make sure that people have the necessary needs. 2 or 3 weeks ago, to be exact, we did a big food giveaway with the Urban League. That was phenomenal. We serviced about 1,500 people, so that was great for our citizens and those that came out. Also, we were working with the clergy to try to get a message out as well, and that's going real phenomenal as we speak. It's 89 blocks, 89 pastors we did on Thursday of last week, and there's another initiative that's coming from that is 6 Feet in the Street, Neighbors Caring for Neighbors. So we're excited about these initiatives that is going on in our city right now.
They say Facebook is a great way to communicate. East St. Louis, the churches are a big part of communications to the people. Talk about Neighbors Praying for Neighbors. How is you actually had had an event that they put on last week, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. I was sitting at my desk, right, and after we just gave the food away, and it was a phenomenal day, and I was just saying, what else can I do as a mayor? And I said, or as a government official, right? And I was like, let's pray. So I started. I had that seed planted, and then I reached out to some local pastors, and then to my unbeknownst to me, that Bishop Waddell, he had the same vision, and he wanted to call, and he was like Neighbors for Caring for Neighbors. So we joined forces, and last Thursday was a phenomenal event. We was asking for 89 pastors or people to come pray, and we got over 100. So that was phenomenal. So next May the 30th, we're asking for that to increase. And right now the numbers are going up. You know, we got people signing on board from Dallas. You know, they're making this trying to make it a national event to talk about those things, Chairman Kern, that's going to be how are we going to look at the COVID-19? You know, what are the things that, you know, how the underserved communities or the areas that there's in your county board district, you know, and stuff like that. How are we going to look? You know, so the census, you know, is a big thing, you know, so that's the number one that's on our list. You know, healthcare, the nutrition, and the small businesses. So these are the things that are coming from the Neighbors Caring for Neighbors and the 6 Feet in the Street initiative.
So, abiding by the governor's executive order, how did people gather for that? How did you stay within the guidelines?
When we met up at East St. Louis Senior High School, and we made sure that social distancing was practiced. You know, we had masks we passed off to everyone.
It was outside?
It was outside. It was outside along State Street, and we're going to do it again, like I said, May 30th at noon. So we maintained the social distancing mandate. You know, and actually it went off real well. It was real received by the citizens and the businesses that was along that last Thursday along State Street. So we were real excited. You know, so people are looking forward to the next thing to come.
Faith has been a big reason why people are able to get through this.
Yes.
And so your churches have always stepped up. I know a number of them do food events throughout.
Right.
So your budget's got to be affected. The
Right.
casino is the largest revenue source for East St. Louis. It's been closed. You've got some expectations on budget.
Well, you know, we're not it's not we're no different than anybody else in the state of Illinois, or you know, that's experiencing this. You know, we're a little bit more eccentric to us because the Casino Queen provides 100% of our salaries. You know, 100% of that, their revenue goes towards our salary. So right now, it's going to be a very difficult time for us, you know, and we understand that. But, however, you know, we stand with the governor, we stand with Chairman Kern, and to making sure that and the Illinois Department of Health, because we want to make sure that we save lives, so we keep people safe. You know, even though we're challenged with the budget, I do believe that, you know, we're going to be okay at some point. You know, I have to be optimistic, right? You know that. You know,
right.
I have to be optimistic, and I am. But you know, we got some challenging days that are coming before us. We've been, you know, we've had this before. You know, we're coming right off the tail end of an intercept. You know, you know, our funds was intercepted. You know, due to our pension problem, correct? You know, so we were just making good on that, and we get hit with the COVID-19. So we're resilient, but you know, we just got to hang in there.
You're taking a punch. I heard the mayor of St. Louis on one of the radio stations today, and she said that she's looking forward to the second CARES Act because there's supposedly money to help local governments with the revenue losses. Mm-hmm. Because I think most local governments are seeing a steep decline in revenues. Right. So are you working with your legislators?
Of course, I'm working with you and, and working with you and the state representative Latoya Greenwood and Chris Belt and you know, and all those that can help us. You know, I do believe that, you know, again, we get in prepared for COVID-19, right? You know, and I think that in the spirit of the packages that they put together it was great, but it was a few things that was missed, you know, and I don't think it was, you know, anybody purposely did it. You know, I think, you know, just in the spirit of trying to get things out quickly, you know, there's some things was omitted. So now it's time to go back and fine tune those things. That's another reason why Neighbors Caring for Neighbors and 6 Feet in the Street initiative was kind of born, you know, to try to finite and fine tune those things that was, you know, omitted for the small communities and the underserved communities.
So you're popular mayor. People respect you, listen to you. Have you got a message for the general public, but specifically for your citizens who know you and trust you?
Yes, I would just say, you know, let's make sure that we keep practicing the 6 Feet in the Street rule, 6 Feet initiative, to stay away and practice those good things that the CDC and the Illinois Department of Health has mandated. You know, we're slowly getting under the curve. I mean, they are working, but we just have to be diligent. We have to, you know, I know the children are getting rambunctious right now. It's graduation time, it's prom time, and all the rest, you know, but we have to make sure that we keep those things, in the forefront and make sure we those measurements that were set, we do those things, and I just practice those things, and I think we're going to be okay, and I think we'll come out on top on the winning end on the other side of COVID-19 as long as we do those things.
So we started this 60 days ago practically, waiting until the end of May, which is really when the next stage of the executive order can take place if we meet those metrics. If we continue to have days like today, we'll be there. That's not that long for people to wait.
Right. I mean, we got a couple more weeks. I just hold the horses a little bit longer, and if we do able to do that, we'll meet those metrics, like you said, and then we can slowly start gradually open up. Everybody wants to open up. I definitely want the Casino Queen and all the other communities they're in their businesses to open up, and as people to thrive economically and do the things that they need to do. But we have to remain safe. We got to make sure, because not one person's life is more than a dollar. So we want to make sure we save lives.
So you mentioned the census. What do you know a percentage of where you are on census forms, and how many people still have it on their kitchen table?
Well, to my understanding, we're like 38% right now. That's not good enough. We need to make sure we fill out those census forms. We need to make sure that we get that stuff turned back in, because it impacts everything that we do. It impacts the numbers for any type of governmental assistance and aid that we need for our cities and local government and our counties. So it's very important that everyone turns their census papers back in while we're at home. Social distancing, right? It's right there. Fill it out. It's very simple. And then you want to have a stranger coming knocking on your door, after COVID-19, and then, and the anxiety level is raised again, like, who is this stranger? But just fill out the census form now, and we'll be good.
Mayor, we appreciate you being here today. Herb Simmons, who's also a mayor, from mayor to mayor, you got a question?
Oh, yeah, I got a couple of them for you. Thanks, Mayor, for coming in today. City Hall, is it open for business? I'm sure it's virtual, some of it, but are people still able to get permits or anything like that?
Yes, we are open for business. We have an abbreviated schedule. The Regulatory Affairs Department is open on Wednesday all day, and they take appointments by schedule. They schedule appointments. So just call in or email the Director Tony Howard, and they can do that. The clerk's office is open as well for wheel tax stickers, and they all coordinate on the same days, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Public Works is open on an abbreviated schedule, but during grass cutting season, we're getting everything back online to normality, whatever normality is right now, right?
And I know you stay in touch with your department heads, so your first responders, your law enforcement, and firefighters. How are they holding up through this crisis?
The firefighters and everybody are holding up well, and I just want to commend, actually I need to give you a kudos and shout out as well, because when we had the big fire out there, / East St. Louis Sauget, you guys stood fast and was at the ready to help us and assist that. So they're doing their jobs, and we appreciate that. We appreciate all the first responders, and we can't thank them enough, because they're the first line of defense, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, we appreciate everything they do for us, and we appreciate you coming in. You're on that weekly conference call with us, and we're trying to get all that information. I think the entire county has come together, all the mayors, all the police chiefs, fire chiefs, because we're all in this together, as you said, so we really appreciate that support.
So we appreciate you guys for definitely keeping us informed and for giving us information. And like I said, it's like one band, one sound. We're moving in the same direction in St. Clair County.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And it's Mary from East St. Louis coming in today to give you a little update on what's going on in the city of East St. Louis as we fight through this. A little bit on the EMA side. We had a conference call today with the hospitals and the EMS agencies, conference call with the IEMA Regional 8 representatives, conference call with IEMA Deputy Director. We've got a conference call here scheduled this afternoon with the governor's office. Had some more of the local agencies come in and pick up the PPE deliveries. We'll be putting in another order for them. They told us today that we need to get a 30-day supply ordered because never know when they're going to be coming in. You heard the numbers today, a little bit better news. No deaths here in the county, which is great news. We didn't lose another county resident. So keep up the good work. Try to enjoy your weekend the best you can. We'll be back here tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 for the next briefing. We'll be back with Cindy and Daisy with our Spanish translation to our Spanish communities in just a few minutes. Thank you very much.